So let me actually explain what happened. So yesterday night we went out with Ines in order to celebrate this milestone, this accomplishment of having, the car at least running. So we had a really good dinner, and after some glasses of wine, well actually after a bottle of wine, we were heading back home, and I decided it was the right moment to give this car some pepper. So I hit on gas and I actually overboosted the car by a lot. Just keep in mind that the Wastegate has an 8 psi rated spring, so I thought we were going to be finding the safe sweet spot, but actually the boost went up to 22 psis, and it was all my fault. I thought the Wastegate was going to operate just with the spring, and the answer is it's not. Okay, so here we do have the Wastegate, and the Wastegate, as you can see, has one port here in the lower side and then another port here. Basically the difference is, and the way this thing works, this is blocked up to this point, and then you have the spring which is here. When you get all the gases from the exhaust that reach out the PSI that the spring is labeled for, then that thing, what I'm doing now is applying pressure, and that thing opens and closes. And basically when this thing opens, what it does is it frees up gases from the exhaust to go out through this wastegate pipe, or whatever this thing is called. So long story short, there are two things that they may need to be connected. From what I was reading, apparently I need to put boost reference, like a vacuum reference, into this lower side of the equation. And then once you want to raise the PSI spring pressure, basically what you do is you get a boost controller, and then you connect a vacuum hose here. So the entire equation will not open at the PSI that is rated the spring, but at the one that you set it up with the boost controller. In my case, I don't want to go higher at this point at the spring. So my goal at this point is 8 psi constant, and that's it. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna put this fitting here, and we're going to connect vacuum reference with the hose that we just purchased. Okay, vacuum is ready. It's going all through the back side of the engine, and then I hook it up here to the intake. I know ideally the situation is not to get vacuum reference from the intake, but rather get from here, from the turbo, but this is yet not done. So I need to drill thing here, and basically that should connect to the controller, and then the controller to the entire wastegate thing. But at this point, the only thing that I really want to do is see if within the boost reference the wastegate operates and the car doesn't boost creep as it did before last night. And yeah, let's pray and let's go for a ride. Okay, we're gonna let the car warm a bit. Coolant seems at overrated temperature, but you can see there that oil temperature is still at 180 something. Should hit the 200 Fahrenheit in order to be in operating temperature, and then we can give some boost. Oil pressure seems fine. When you're cruising, it's around 50 psi. When you're idling, it's around 30 psi. The one that I'm quite confused, guys, is the wideband. Wideband is going between 14.4 to almost 17, and it's not steady. It's moving up, down, up, down, up, down. The car is, just going steady. I'm not accelerating, decelerating. It's just steady pace, and that thing is moving all over the place. So I don't know, quite confused about that. If anyone has an idea, please let me know, because I'm lost. To 17.2, but let's go. First, second, third. 20.5. How is that even possible? What do you think, Oscar? I'm so lost, guys. I'm lost. I'm kind of frustrated. I have issues with the air fuel mixture. At this point, I don't know if that brand new sensor from Summit it is actually failing or not. The second thing that I'm lost is all this wastegate thing and I don't know, the controller telling us that we're reaching 20 psi, which is a lot. I mean, at this point, I don't know if I do believe that I'm reaching 20 psi, but also I don't want to just keep pushing it and destroy the engine, because that would be a complete disaster after 1 year and a half to get into this stage. So this is the test we are gonna do now. I actually want to see if the wastegate is opening or not. The way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna use that vacuum line that is already connected, and basically I already preload this thing with, as you can see, a little bit less than 20 psi. And we're gonna see, I'm gonna leave the phone here, and we're just going to see if that makes any opening sound. That thing is moving. Okay, the mystery of the wastegate, it's kind of solved. I would say at this point that hose is connected to the intake, so if the intake gets 10 psi, then it should immediately open the wastegate, and that thing is open. Now, I have no clue why still, if the wastegate is working, why I do still see that the car is reaching 17 psi or 20 psi. I have no clue whatsoever. So one could be that the reading of the sensor it's wrong. So I'm gonna bypass this. I'm gonna try to use the same vacuum port that we have here at the end of the intake to plumb both the wastegate and also the signal for the control. Okay guys, so let me show you how I ended up plumbing this thing. So fuel pressure regulator, only this thing is connected through just one single vacuum hose to the rear side here of the intake. I'm using that same equation, but instead of having a T and connecting the gauge through that same line, what I'm doing now is I'm using this one here in the back. Basically goes down there and it tees up to, let me see if I can show you. There we go. Two things. One is the wastegate, as we tested. There we go, nice and tucked in. And the other one, it goes all behind that thing, and there you can see the hose and connects to the gauge. So, I don't know, let's give it one more try. It's about to rain outside, but I think we can make it happen, and I'll keep you guys posted. Zero PSI? I think we just found the issue. The port that I was taking vacuum from the intake, this one over here, was not actually working. That's why when we turn on the car, we were seeing 0 psi, when in normal state, idle should be minus 9.9, almost minus 10 psi. Why? Because the engine has vacuum. So what I'm doing now, and the way that I plumbed it, is I'm using the one in the front that was being used in the blow-off valve, and I know this one was opening and closing properly. So the way it's plumbed now is I have this one going here up to the T, and then from the T goes to the wastegate and to the blow-off valve, and I connected once again the sensor with the fuel pressure regulator, all connected with the same one that is underneath here. So, it's not raining yet. Let's head into the streets. Let's see. Good, man, good. 7 freaking PSIs. Yes! we're doing around 20-22 psi. Extremely fast. I can totally feel now the difference with 6 psi or 7 psi. This is absolutely different. So now everything is working. The vacuum line needs to be connected to the wastegate. That was an absolute mistake of mine that could have eventually cost me the entire block. So I hope if you're watching this and you ever need to turbo your car, don't forget, please don't forget that the spring is not gonna work alone in the wastegate. You absolutely need vacuum line in the wastegate in order for the wastegate to work. So yeah, I think I'm gonna close the video here, guys. I'm so happy with that. I still need to fix the bouncing thing of the air fuel mixture, but well, one step at a time. I think it has been a successful day with a lot of emotions, and now I need to figure out how to clamp the boost controller, because man, 7 psi, now I want more, dude. I mean, this is pushing so light versus how it was this morning. So yeah, I'm happy the car now will be a little bit more reliable than before. That's, you know, at the end of the day, that was my main goal. I didn't want to go extremely crazy, but now I taste the flavor of an extremely fast car. So thank you very much for watching. I think that's enough.